Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to pay tribute, as other members of this House have, to an extraordinary man, Mr Donald Taylor Ritchie, OAM, who sadly passed away on Sunday the 13th of May, aged 85, surrounded by his family. Mr Ritchie became known to many as the Angel of the Gap. He spent 50 years of his life keeping watch and reaching out to people who attempted to take their lives at the notorious cliff at Gap Park in Watson's Bay in my electorate of Vaucluse. A loving husband to Moya, father to 3 daughters, Jan, Donna and Sue, and a grandfather, Mr Ritchie was also a true local hero to so many people touched by his generosity and compassionate spirit. Mr Ritchie is acknowledged by authorities as having intervened to stop many people, over 100 people, jumping to their death at Gap Park, and this is nothing short of remarkable. Mr Ritchie has been described in this House as a guardian angel, tirelessly reaching out to the most vulnerable in our community and coaxing them back from that cliff, and often inviting them back to his nearby home for a cup of tea and a chat, something as simple as that. Yes, there are devices such as fences and CCTV at the Gap to give troubled souls that are considering taking their lives that chance to reconsider. And securing the site has indeed been an important priority, not only for the local community and the council, and for myself and my federal counterpart, Malcolm Turnbull, MP. The Rose Bay Local Area Command, ably led by Superintendent Mick Fitzgerald, also continues to play a part, an enormous part, in assisting those in need at the Gap. Their praises in that way often go unsung. Frankly, they don't want to bring too much attention to their important work at the Gap, lest they fear it will draw others to that suicide hotspot. In Mr Ritchie's case, it was a smile and a greeting, an acknowledgement, simple, gentle gestures that Mr Ritchie proved to us all time and time again could make a difference to someone in need and close to ending their lives. Mr Ritchie recently described this as firstly trying to get people away from the cliff ledge, and then offering a smile, being friendly, and saying, "Can I help you in some way?" Some very simple words were used. Born on the 9th of June 1926, Mr Ritchie served in the Royal Australian Navy during World War II and later worked as an insurance salesman. His daughter, Miss Sue Ritchie-Bereny, who spoke at the funeral, has said both periods of his life in those careers helped him learn how to talk to all kinds of people about all sorts of things. Mr Ritchie was a keen traveller and adventurous, and he was also passionate about seeing the world. And in 2006, he was awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia for his enormous contribution to our local and national community in his service at the Gap. And in 2010, he and Mrs Ritchie were named as Citizens of the Year by my local council, the Wallara Council. Just last year, Mr Ritchie was awarded Australia's prestigious Local Hero Award 2011 for his remarkable service to suicide prevention as part of the annual Australia of the Year Awards. And accepting that award, Mr Ritchie said, "Always remember the power of a simple smile, a helping hand, a listening ear and a kind word." So we have much to learn from his actions. We could easily turn a blind eye to the people in the darkest hour, or we could lend a hand, which is what Mr Ritchie did in a very practical sense. He couldn't help but do the latter, every day indeed for 5 decades, keeping watch over the cliff from his home. Mr Ritchie was truly deserving of these national and community awards, and last Friday I was honoured to pay tribute to and also to celebrate Mr Ritchie's life and achievements at his funeral service at the Naval Memorial Chapel at HMAS Watson in Watson's Bay. It was a clear-skied blue day. There was a ripple of wind in the air. There was a Christmas in the air as well. Hundreds of people were in attendance to pay tribute and rejoice in his generous spirit. The chapel itself was small and could only hold about 100 people, so most of us spilled onto the beautiful lawns that are right on the cliff face there at Watson's Bay. The Scots College boys piped the last post and reveille, and indeed the HMAS Watson Command provided a guard of honour. It was a memorable, moving and yet inspiring occasion. Mr Don Ritchie OAM, a wonderful Australian, a compassionate and tireless advocate for those in need, a kind and a decent family man, our local hero. May he rest in peace. I commend my private member's statement to the House. Yeah.